evening, sir.
Hey, how you doing, Kelly?
I'm okay. It's been a busy last few days, post-holiday wrap up, all that fun stuff.
Yeah,
I can say fun about that. Busy, busy.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, okay. Other than that, okay. I'm not gonna like sugarcoat it. Today in Pennsylvania, it's extremely cold and windy. So it kind of makes me want to hibernate a little bit, like a little bit.
I really wish, honestly, I wish we would get some snow down here, to down further south because if it has anything to do with killing bugs or any type of any any of that at all, I'm for it. I mean, I think it's a great thing, and to be honest, we don't get to see snow that much, so if there's ever any type of excuse to get to just have some fun and hang out and throw some frozen stuff at somebody, you can say, "Hey,
Right?
I'm just having fun." And I'm sorry, did that hurt? That's horrible. You know,
There's a list of people that we could make
there is
maybe.
absolutely a list, I would tell you. And I used to be a pitcher in
Oh,
my days growing up, and I
uh-huh.
would certainly be throwing. If I ever threw a strike in my life, I would be throwing a strike these days. I did want to reach out, everybody, the listeners. If you're watching, if you're just doing any of that, I just wanted to give a real love and such a kind shout out. I did put out a post. I don't open up too privately about things with my family. I tend to that's just something I keep very sacred and to myself with those things, as you can see. But my sister, uh, the last several days, has been having some real issues with a health issue, and got put in the hospital. And so she is there now. They are taking care of her now. Um, she had some real challenges for several days. But what I want to say thank you about is I think there were somewhere around the neighborhood of about 150 people that, and I just reached out and said, "Hey, could you take a second of your day and maybe just say a prayer?" Uh,
Oh.
yeah,
Well, I'm so glad that, she's, like I said, kind of, in a place that can help take care of her at this point. And of course, all of us, including everyone who got to comment on your post, I'm sure will be thinking of her in the healthiest of ways.
and they have, and
Mhm.
also with that being said, we have another one of our love and light listeners who, as we know, are very near and dear to this show. Miss Robin Kell. Also, she just kind of resurfaced there with getting out there saying, "Hey, folks, my head's above the sand now with things. I'm out there. I'm coming back." So listen, everybody has tough times in life. And I think the most crucial thing, and this I will say this,
Mhm.
folks, if you see one of your loved ones, one of your friends, one of your neighbors, someone out there, and under normal circumstances, you may see them on the identifier and you're like, "Oh, Lord, here's this person." Folks, let me share this with you. You never know when that the phone call to say, "Hey, I need your prayer, I need
Mhm.
your help." And when you don't, and then you find out about it days later, it stings. So, folks, I will just share this with you and say, um, take that time. It doesn't hurt, and everyone in the planet Earth, every one of us has family. Every one of us is busy. Every one of us has things we're doing. But 60 seconds is 60 seconds, folks, out of a full day. You can find time to say, "Hey, are you okay? Is it, hey, it's my sister. She's in bad shape. She's in the hospital. You know, things are going on." So take 60 seconds, folks. It's not a lot to ask. So that being said, now I want to, and myself with Kelly, to say, um, tonight. we have on the show, I would say, someone that I hold near and dear to my heart because after all these years, he's still my friend. We've been through a lot. The naysayers, the goods, the bad. And what the nice thing about this guest is he is, hey, I know Keith. I love Keith. He's like a brother. You know what? Let's lift him up. Let's not kick him down. He stayed my friend after some dark times that, we all go through. And he stayed my friend. And he's still my friend. And to be honest, I guess that's really what a friend is even in the worst of times when we go through them, that they don't check out on you and they say, hey, buddy, I'm still there. I'm still there with you. So I have to say, folks, without further ado,
I'm so excited to talk to him.
And Kelly, bring to the show the one and the only real deal, Mr. Jeff Konkel. Yeah. Yeah. He's here, folks.
Aw. Hi, Jeff.
Hi.
Welcome from the West Coast tonight.
Oh, yes, indeed. Hey, folks, there he is right there, the man. Oh, my God.
So no snow for you tonight, right, Jeff?
Look, it's been raining. That's all it's been doing.
Oh.
Are you still in Fresno?
Yeah.
Let me see. Is someone else still in Fresno? I'm trying to. Okay. And folks, I think everybody knows who Jeff Konkel's best buddy, best friend, actual really ukulele playing rock star, lead singer for the Konkel band, the one and only. Who is it, Jeff Konkel? I think everybody knows.
Who is that?
Come on, who is it?
I lost you.
I think even George Shuplin knows who we're talking about. Anyway, he's our buddy. Hey, so Jeff, let's just roll this dude right into rock star land. Tell us about yourself. Tell us about getting into business and what you're all about. You got the mic, buddy. Rock it.
I don't know much to say. I'm a builder. I build a lot of things. I didn't, long time ago. I mean, building things is what I love to do. And it just so happens that I built one thing and somebody's like, and then before I knew it, I was like, and then before I knew it, I was like, oh shit. So, I mean, yeah, I do enjoy building things, and you know that quite well because you got the one and only thing that lasts forever.
Right.
So what did you get, Keith? What did you get from Jeff? Because he said you got something.
Yeah, so I got kind of like a super enhanced, really, I would kind of say 4x4 of the industry, pretty much of an SLS.
Oh, okay.
And this was back in the
last 3 hours.
Yeah, I think it's really, I think it's literally, when you think about it, you're like, wow, really? It's like the stuff. It is some amazing stuff. Speaking of amazing stuff, Jeff, your friends and your colleagues are jumping in here. You got Mr. George Shuplin in the house. You got Miss Maria Yates.
Marie, thank you for the
exactly. Yes. So many we got our Love and Light listeners that have been asking about, hey, this guy, who is he? I know our one guy here, Bob, who is one of our big. Let's see, where's he at on there? Bob's further up, I believe. Kelly. He is a.
Bob was one of the first ones. Hi, Bob.
Yes, he is. Bob is Bob is a big techie kind of guy all the way around too. His utilization of what he does out there and his investigations and everything else. This guy will be getting with you, Jeff, because EVP wise and everything else, man, he brings it. Very, very, very sharp guy. I've gotten it. Yeah, he'll be reaching out to you for sure. Very, very sharp guy. So
Awesome.
other than the fact of yeah, Bob does rock Robin. So along with the fact of building things, let's look at with you. When did you get into the paranormal? As far as like how old were you? What were some of the things again that got you into the
Into my
paranormal?
12
Okay,
in
so you
Springfield.
were
A long story. That's a very long story. And
well. Does it involve something to do with the haunting or something that happened that kind of
oh
went
yeah,
along?
therapy, the whole 9 yards afterwards. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's just something I really, really don't like to talk about too much
I got you.
because it's up a lot of old things that I don't like to
I
bring
got you.
up. You know what I mean?
I got
Well,
you.
I'm curious.
But no,
When did you start inventing things, Jeff?
oh, I was always tearing things apart since I was young. My dad
Oh, okay.
was in the workshop. My dad was an electrician, electrical engineer, and and then I would work around in the shop, and then before I knew it, I was taking old things from the shop and making new things out of them,
Mhm.
and then before I knew it, I built my first, um, I think it was an EMF thing. It was a long, long time ago when they first, when it was all dialed up. My dad had an old meter, and I turned it into an EF meter, EMF. Um, but no, it was after I don't know about when I really started building it. As I was man, it's been about 5 years. I moved in, pretty close to where Scott was living. I mean, where I was living to Scott. And, my buddy Chris Maggard, he's because I was building stuff and making drones to go in because I was working by myself.
Oh, okay.
So, decrepit old buildings, I didn't want to go inside them. The floorboards were cracked. I didn't know if I was going to go through the floor.
Right.
I would take drones in with everything on them
Mhm.
and let them go through the house. And ground drones, not air drones or anything like that. It was more like tractor tire type, tank tire tracks, and I'd send them in, and then I'd get my stuff that I needed and get back out, and I wouldn't have to go into the place at all. Plus, I wasn't considered trespassing. So,
Oh, oh, makes sense.
anyway, after that, I was told by my friend that there's another guy in town that he's did investigations. I didn't know anybody really. So I hit this guy up, and it took a long time for him to even friend me. I know he had a certain circle that, he stayed pretty low profile, low key. And before I knew it, he became my friend. And then he had a heart attack.
Hmm.
And then after that, it was like after he got out of the hospital and he learned how to walk again and all that stuff, he invited me over, and then we were talking about certain things. So the next day I brought this drone over, and then he flipped, and then it went from there. I just,
Mhm.
ta-da.
Oh, oh.
And then,
That's awesome. And then you said you were, kind of going into these sorts of locations and, the verge of
I did all,
exploration slash trespassing a little, as you put it. But like, what's your favorite type of place to go into with your equipment? Like, is there a type of building or
huge,
like
yeah,
history?
history, historical style buildings like, warehouses, anything like that, homes and
Okay.
things like that. Much
Mhm.
of, but it was the warehouses, the old, wineries, things like that. It was that big. So because when I went, I used to go into those places by myself. Like I investigated a museum downtown here in downtown Fresno, I did it by myself, but I did it with a radio station.
Oh, okay.
And the things that I caught, because I have, I'm sorry, but I didn't have, I would go off by myself
Mm-hmm.
and not having a lot of people with you. I got a lot of evidence,
Sure.
especially
Yeah.
The part when I was taking a piss in the downstairs bathroom, and all of a sudden you hear a whisper saying, "Hey," and I was like, you know how hard it is to stop a mid piss stream?
You can't. It doesn't happen.
Oh.
I didn't believe me out of the bathroom.
I mean, you might go outside the door and leave a little empty little stream, but I don't know about stopping it.
Whoa.
Give me my EVP recorder. Give me. Out of the bathroom.
Kelly would be, for us guys, we would just jump and run. Kelly would be like, okay.
I'd be like, you have to wait a minute. I need 2 more minutes. Yeah. Somebody else go check it out. Yeah.
I'm in the bathroom. There's a ghost in there. And that's just that moment when you're stuck and the door won't open and you're just like, help me. Hey, our buddy, buddy
George has a question.
Can you see the questions on your end there, Jeff?
No, not without not without doing this.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. George asks if since you're in the shop inventing more things, do you miss time to investigate? Do you miss having that time?
No, because every time I'm out on the road, I'm there.
Okay.
It's like things I see and hear, and it's very much enough for me. I get to set up by in these places, Ghost Adventures, and do their thing for them. It's like, wow, you hear, oof.
Yeah. I can imagine. Hey, so Jeff,
because I'm in the midst of it, all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine. I mean, it's probably like when you're working and you're doing that, like you said, on the road. You're just it's like a rock concert. All that gear, you're going, setting up a new city, setting up, and it really is. You unload the equipment, you do your performance. Thank you. Good night. No encores, by the way. Load it back up and off the road again, and then off you go. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. So here is our buddy Bob, and let me tell you, Bob is the man. So he's got a question. He asked, "What is your favorite piece of equipment that you invented?" And he did shoot you out a friend request. And this is a guy. This is a guy you want to hang out with and get to, because he's a very sharp guy. So what would you think, Jeff? What's your equipment that you're like your shining success a la mode? What was something that you're like, sweet, this was the star tool?
My best piece would be my LiDAR XLS. That is my baby. That's
okay.
Well, what does that do? I'm asking for all the
I'm asking for a friend
in the group. I'm afraid I'll break it if I touch it, but tell me what it does. So what does that do, Jeff?
What is it, Jeff?
You tell me.
Please.
What it does.
Oh.
Okay. You guys are freezing up. You there?
Yep.
Yeah, we're here.
It was skipping a little bit here too. So yeah.
It's a storm.
So imagine having a PS5, right? And then you go back to a Nintendo 64. That's how the graphics are insane.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So this is enhanced graphics, is what you're telling me.
Yeah. 3-dimensional with LiDAR mapping.
Oh, okay.
And it's a nice piece of equipment.
Is that what you posted the other day? Because I really love following your posts, and I try to understand it was this major piece of equipment that.
That's a new thing I'm working on.
Oh, okay.
camera, one look-see type view. It's going to be a depth with tracking. So, and then I get to do, variations with it, keeping them side by side. And that's just something new I'm working on right now. But that's with a whole bunch of cameras.
How long does it take you to come up with your like, I know, I'm sure it depends on what you're working on, but like your final product, your final item in completion, about like how long does it take you normally?
I'll get the rough piece done, and then I'll show it to the guy, and they'll use it, and 9 times out of 10, because they're the best for using my stuff. They definitely have the opinion on it, on what I need to do to make it better, and and if it doesn't work right the first time, okay, we need to work on this, Jeff, so on and so forth. So that's kind of when I let them use my equipment, they'll tell me what's wrong, because I don't get to test it. They get to test it for me. My initial thing is I can get it turned on and I can make sure everything records and gets going. But in long-term testing out in the field, the weather, where they're at, if they bumped something, if it's going to go out, so on and so forth, it gives me, an idea of how to make it better.
Sure.
And, and letting them test it, to me, is like the dream, as I also grab hold of that thing. No, I'm going in. And then they'll come. First time. It was like the first time they used the XLS, very first time. It had issues. It did, but they caught some amazing footage on it, and then it blew up on site. No, it did. No. Had a major burp, and so I took it back and reinvented, and then never had a problem since. But it's things like that, and then once I'm on set, I see what they do, and I see how they investigate. So what I do is I try to make things that help them along the way, or make it a lot easier to investigate. Like you've seen a long time ago that I made the vests. Vests are they keep the weight off of here. They and you only have one camera in your hand, and you have another free hand to do whatever you want with an EVP recorder or whatever. But it's things like that. It's a never-ending concept for me to build. I'm always getting.
I'm sorry, Jeff. There's a little skip on my end. I don't mean to interrupt you. I was going to ask you, of all the things that you've built, is there a piece of equipment that you've gotten some sort of, I'm sure you've gotten astounding evidence from each piece of equipment, but is there a piece of equipment that you've built that you were like, oh my gosh, you got some really amazing standout evidence off of what you've, and pardon my,
ask Mr. Keith.
Simplistic question, but I don't often use equipment myself, so I don't know.
Well, just ask Keith. You guys watch Disturbance in Wickenburg. I did not know that my XLS could do what it did. And when it caught the 12-foot figure, I was astounded. I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
And the things that it's caught, especially at Salt Air, catching that anomaly, and it was camouflaged in the mirror. It was just amazing stuff. And it's, every time they take it out, the thing impresses me even more and more, because it does so much more than, it's continuing to impress me.
Wow.
So.
Well, I tell you, that's interesting, Jeff, because I've had some things on SLS that, people like to throw lots of rocks at SLS. And I will just tell you that I've been aboard ships, that I've been in kitchens where I've actually seen a guy with like this bowl he was holding, and he's turning his hand like this, like he's stirring something.
Yeah.
Okay, like he's doing this. Then I say, hey, are you cooking at something? You probably need a sous chef. He leaves. This one is gone. He goes bloop. So there's nothing there. And then he comes back, and then this other little one is like behind him, and they're like bouncing around in the kitchen. Okay, so that's just one thing. Another was at a fire station where a lady's dad had died, and the way he always introduced himself is he bowed. So sure enough, we're doing this thing for her, and I get this figure that comes up in an open space where there's no mirrors, no one else, every living person's behind me. I had the camera out in front of me, and I said, "Now's a chance to show yourself for your daughter. I'm going to take your picture if you want her to see." And sure enough, he comes up, and I says, "Hello, my name's Keith." And then we hear on the recorder, he gives his name, and then he bows over, and he's like, "I bid you adieu," like he's bending over. So she starts crying, and she says, "That's exactly how my father introduced himself."
Well,
so I like to say,
wrong.
Yeah.
The SLS is still a good piece of equipment. I built so many of them. I mean,
right.
They're not. I'm not saying they're a bad piece of equipment. They're not, and they never will be. I just like to continue to. I like to move forward, and after building so many of them, and I was having nightmares about building them. I could build them in my sleep type scenario.
The SLS cameras are coming to get you.
God, and then I had it. Got a headache one day and was sitting there and just looking at a few things and said, "You know what? Screw this. I'm going to make something better." And before I knew it, I had about a 20-pound piece of equipment in my hand. It was in the hand. It was flexing down the whole 9 yards, but I built it. And at the time, it ended up on a vest. It ended up on a shoulder mount, and then it ended up on a vest. But I continue to move forward is what I'm doing. I mean, I do enjoy the old shit. I still have quite a bit of my old stuff here, but to me, I just, constantly things are going around inside here about, and then having to see the guys investigate, and having them pick up the piece of equipment or that piece of equipment. And you're like, what if that piece of equipment, what if I can make it do this, and then bing, all of a sudden, like Aaron would go, "Dude, do it." And then,
yeah, you pretty much got him down at the Improv.
Oh God, man.
He
asked me, and it's things like that, and it keeps me going. I'm constantly thinking and constantly working on new things. I'm always either ripping something apart or, building from scratch. Believe me, I do like to rip things apart and make them better, or add something to that. But I do like to build from scratch. I do. It takes a long time. It does. It's like this camera system or the one, the shadow cam that I'm working on. It's still got a lot of bugs. But once I get done with that, that's going to make the XLS pretty much going to go, because when you can see the skeletal figure look at you and, actually have a head on it and things like that, then, that's pretty much going to make the XLS going to go, "Oh God, I need a head." It's just a lot of bugs you got to work out in systems, programming.
Well, and do you have any tips also, Jeff, for teams that are maybe in the chat or going to watch, and people who are using, although it may not be one that you've crafted, SLS that you've crafted, but do you have any tips for people who are using them in investigations? Because I think sometimes that's where some of the misunderstanding comes from. So are there any things that you suggest if you're using them?
Because you can get, it's just like, false positives off corners of walls. You just got to know where you're at and know the surroundings that you're in. If you're catching something right out in the middle of a room, then you're like, "What the hell?" People who use SLSs know how to use them. It's any piece of equipment, you learn it and it's yours. How this piece of equipment works. And by God, if you let somebody else borrow it, but No, that's the way some people are. You can't touch their equipment. They'll show you how it works, but it's theirs. They love to investigate with it. And,
Mhm.
you get somebody that's knowledgeable and things like that and know how to use it correctly, then yeah, you're not going to have one bit of a problem,
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
there that happen and you can pretty much debunk the things that happen.
Mhm.
And but you just got, just like everybody out there, be mindful of what you're using and know how to use it. And you'll be
Mhm.
just fine.
Well, our friend Robin has a question too. She asks what your favorite recorder is for any audio that you're capturing, or is it something that you've created?
Sorry, Kelly, you're kind of skipping on me there a little bit.
No, that's okay. You both are skipping on me as well. I'm just making sure I didn't want to interrupt you. But Robin asked what your favorite audio recorder is, if you have a favorite.
Oh, I I used to have some, but I ripped them apart. Uh, my audio recorders, I don't even have any, to be honest with you. Mine is my audio recorders. I'll let you know. Just one thing about a system I'm working on. And I've adapted 7 linear microphones in a certain pattern on a camera. And I've got it stationed to where it tells me where the voices are coming from. And so far right now, this is my favorite piece of equipment.
Oh,
And
wow.
it can give you and the distance of where the voice was coming from. So I'm very excited about this, but just trying to get the bugs out of it right now. But I mean, EVP recorders so far, this one that I put together has been working for me quite well. And yeah, the timestamps, the data is how I do it. I collect the data,
Mhm.
and I love it. And it's just, there's some bugs, but I mean, you guys sooner or later, probably the next year or so, maybe in the next year, you'll probably see it on GA.
Nice.
But right now, going through some bug phases.
Mhm. So your favorite are the ones that you've crafted. When you're all done, Robin, we're gonna watch and see his favorites will come out.
But I do like
Hey,
tape. Don't get me wrong. I love the
Mhm.
tape cassette. If I still had my tape cassette and I didn't give it away, I would use it all the time. I love it.
Mhm.
You know, it may sound scratchy, but the evidence you get off of a standard, like a small tape recorder, is I've caught a lot of evidence on a small tape recorder.
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
Jeff,
Yeah.
we got this guy, this fellow by the name of Flip Cyril. I don't know. Yeah, this fella. What piece of equipment makes your? Oh, there it is. Yeah, it makes you shake your head. Okay, every time you see someone using it on an investigation.
Well, what do you mean? I didn't get
In
it.
other words, when you see what piece of equipment when you see it, you just shake your head like, oh my god, are they really using that?
I've never had one piece of equipment that I've shook my head on. I'm proud of everything that I built.
Okay, not you, but that equipment out there that people are using on the streets.
Oh no, not at all. I don't shake my head at anybody's piece of equipment. No, that
Okay.
came out wrong. Sorry. But
So anyway,
I
okay.
no, got you, didn't it, Keith? Um, but anyway, no, I don't say anything bad or shake my head bad about anything or anybody using any piece of equipment. I don't. I mean, you're going to use what you're going to use to find the evidence, and
Right.
I look at it and go for it. It's not anything bad at all. Whatever you use, you can use a bell, you can use a whistle, you can use a compass, you can use whatever. You can use a little glowy ball. I don't care. It's all, or you can go down and buy a pet toy, adjust the sensitivity, cut it open, make it your own. It's things like that. You can use whatever you want. Hell, set up something and have them knock it over. I don't care. It's all great. As long as you
Mhm.
investigate with it, fine. There's nothing
So
bad out
folks,
there.
there you have it right there. And that in and itself says a whole lot about the paranormal. When you have a piece of equipment and you call it your own and you love it, it's yours, it's your toy, it's your deal, and you that's your piece. You don't get caught up about somebody being, oh, gee whiz that or gee whiz that. Hey, if you've had
There's no reason.
results with it, and you've had something that's been like, wow, it's really worked for me, then by all means. And then, yeah.
Use it. If you built something that's got tons of wires hanging out the sides of it, but yet it's picking shit, use it. Just tell everybody else, thinking, man, what the hell is that? Yeah, just don't step near it because you could end up on the floor. But
Don't
like
that wire. Yeah.
There's a pretty good one from Jim Lucier, and his is, hi, Jeff. What does the evidence you've collected so far tell you about the afterlife? What's your thoughts?
It's the things that I've been through and seen. It's there.
Okay.
Did have my doubts, but that's you guys. And the things, when I was young, I saw some very bad things, and then I got older, and they're still there. There's a lot of grumpy spirits out there.
Right.
But to physically, I never really saw anything until I started working for these guys. To see a dark mass just look out from behind a door, and to be honest with you, as long as I've been doing it, I still pissed my pants and ran down the stairs.
I know what you mean.
I did not want to go back up there unless somebody was with me. It's scary. It does get scary, and you can say you're not going to get scared, but it's just like everybody out there. It's just, you can say it, but then when it happens to you, it's definitely an eye opener. And believe me, now at this point in my life and my career of what I do, I want to dig in deeper. I want to know why. I want to basically invent a piece of equipment that allows this spirit or whatever this energy is to physically sit down and have a conversation with me.
So see, that's interesting you say that. Do you think, and I had a dream about this one night, and I don't know why it was, but it was with my brother. Now, he, of course, everybody knows my story. I lost my twin brother in 2017. And he told me something on the living side before he died. And about 4 days later, he answered after he died. And the dream I had was I was sitting on this couch, and there was this big, huge TV, and it was staticky, but there were these speakers on both sides, and it's in the dark, and Kevin is in front of me in the TV, and you can see an outline of a humanoid figure, and he meets me at this TV, and he talks to me, and I sit there, and I listen to him, and I say, Kevin, what about this? And he goes, well, Keith, this is what happens. And it's like a living room experience paranormal event. And so I almost tend to think sometime, we're going to get to be to where the holy grails of inventions is going to be all of it construed together in almost this big meat mixer between voice phenomenon, video, and all of it together. It's this one huge, amazing piece of equipment to where they can tune in on the frequency, almost like this huge SOS, and they tune in and they come up on it. And the speakers only turn up the EVP of how they're able to manipulate the noise, and the camera part of it is them coming through that we're seeing. We don't see their face. Obviously, it's not like that, but they come through in this form of this amazing and then it's like, okay, bye, I have to go now, and then there's their time, they have to leave. And it's so crazy how that is, because I've been having it now more and more and more realistic. Like, it's more and more he's telling me, okay, Keith, it's coming. Okay, Keith, it's gonna happen. And I don't know if it's that, maybe that means that the time on this earth is going to end, or we're going to arrive at this amazing invention. But I almost tend to think that it's that type of living room environment, paranormal space is going to happen. What's your thoughts on something, maybe something mega like that happening?
It's going to be some guy or some girl who's going to be sitting out there just doing the shit that I'm doing right now. And one day, just going to all of a sudden cross a wire or do something in that format that's going to cause a reaction, and then they're going to stay with it. And all it takes is that one person. You don't have to be an electrical engineer. You don't. If you like to fiddle around with things and electronics and tear things apart and build things and then work with camera systems or work with audio things, it's things like that that bring things like this to the table.
Right.
It's normal everyday people. It's like us, we're all normal everyday people. You can have these people from big companies and stuff like that, selling you paranormal gear and things like that. But, it's people like you and it's people like me that build these things, go, hey, you know what? See if this works. And you're like, holy fuck, what is it?
That's exactly what I'm sometimes.
Or you have one person that looks at your piece of equipment, or you show it to them and you let them use it. You know what? Could you do this to it? Could you add that to, you know what? Be my guest. Mm-hmm. And I don't tell you, no, don't build my stuff. I don't say that at all. I said, if you've got the cojones, go out and do it. Yeah. Build it. Mm-hmm. Make something that's yours. Look for that evidence. It's all about you. It's not about, anybody else. It's because what I do is I build things that help people find evidence, find that communication. I'm a very visual type of person. My audio and stuff, no, I want to see it. If I can't see it with my naked eyes, I want to be able to see it with eyes that I can't put in my head. And sooner or later, I'm going to break through that area of being able to see that boundary, see that spot. Mm-hmm. And to me, that's what I'm working on. That's what I concentrate on, is visual. I'm a visual person.
Right.
And there's audio specialists out there. I love them. I love them to death. Look at this fucking audio recorder. Man, a voice from 20 rooms away. It's things like that. Just keep on building. Keep doing what you want to do. There's no bad piece of equipment out there.
So we got a guy here that asks you a question that so many of us feel. I'll tell you. Philip Casey. Well, Mr. Jeff, have you ever walked into a place and walked right back out of it with too much activities? Like, no, sir. Not going to happen. Not today, Satan.
I was like, whatever, Satan. That was, yeah, I've done that. And, it took it's a little bit of encouragement to go back in, especially when, you're getting told from the bottom of the steps when you're looking up and seeing something saying, don't go, mm-hmm. They're telling you to get out. And when they tell you don't go in a deep fucking guttural voice, that's usually a good idea to step out of the building for a second.
Have you ever been to Old South?
No.
Yeah, hands down, I would have to say, and I've been to a couple that are just like, whoa. Old South Pittsburgh Hospital. Now, this is back before they changed, they did some stuff. But woo-wee. I tell you, I was there with James Anito and several other really cool people. I have to tell you, I don't think the only thing we did not have at this event was somebody did not get possessed, but so many other things happened. Full-bodied apparitions with pictures, EVPs that are like, we ask a question, they answer. Then the spirits are talking to each other. We got them talking to each other. He already asked that. I know. Shut up. They're like back and forth. It's like the Three Stooges. Hey, Mo. And
I know, right?
It was. And we were like, they're actually back and forth talking. But these are intelligent spirits. I'm talking about walking in the room, introducing yourself, and at the end of the 45-minute investigation, so what was my name again? And they go, Keith. They did like a really like Keith. And I'm like, okay, that's probably intelligent. Really good stuff. Really good stuff. And yes, our buddy, my buddy from Austin, he got scratched and he was excited. I got scratched. And we went and looked and he had this big long down his neck. And I mean, it was like a blade got him. And I'm like, well, let me get something to kind of clean you up. You got a cut there, dude. And he literally felt it when it did. He was like, oh. And he's running. And I looked and I took a picture of it and showed him. Huh?
Some people take that a little bit different. There's out there don't fight it. And not me. I don't invite it, but
yeah, they were walking through a part of the hallway where a very dark presence had known. So everybody had said, it's right in this area. It's right through here. This is where stuff happens all the time. And so he's like, wow, somewhere down here. Well, he walks off to himself and he goes down this room and you hear him go, ah! He screamed. And sure enough, we come back. And I mean, he's got this ripping down his neck and he's touching it. And he's like, what is it? And I took a picture and he goes, oh, cool. That is not cool for me. I'm sorry. You got scratched, dude, by something that's not alive.
A little bit, it's like me person in like a public area. You're like, hi, how are you doing? Type scenario. Not at first, you don't walk right up to him because, that thing is going to boo,
Mm-hmm.
But, after a while, you're used to your surroundings and the environment that you're in. Kind of what to expect, and you're searching for things like that. But at first, you walk right into a building, just like I said, or you walk into a building I've never been into. And all of a sudden something happens or something bangs or a door slams. It's like, what the fuck? I'm going back outside. This isn't cool.
Well, yeah, because especially for you're inside there maybe doing setup and you're probably by yourself before they get there. And you're off in there, dark, scary, quiet, nobody's there. Your back is turned. It's this big open space.
That's
all
the worst
sudden
thing ever. That's my worst.
I know.
Imagining it's gonna
because you keep looking over
having something run behind you, and then you turn and it's not there. I would literally shit my pants.
I had that happen. I had that happen at a location, and what was crazy is, so I'm carrying the equipment. People are in front of me. It's dark. I can't see my hand, so I'm trying to ease down through there. And all of a sudden, in my right ear, I get this, hey. And I turned like thinking somebody was there. There's nobody, no one at all, no living person. And I turned around. I says, I turned around. I was like, do not do that again. That is not cool. That is not cool, dude. I said, I'm going to set up some equipment and then we can talk. So right where it happened, I turned on my flashlight, put it right here, put this right down there with the EDI and a little shadow detector, get back down there. And finally I was like, now, if you want to make it go off, by all means, have fun. And about a minute later, shadow detector goes off and the EDI goes ping, 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 ping. And I said, you like my toy? Huh? Yeah, and we finally
you get publicity.
Yeah, so anyway, we ended
I
know it's I think is it the storm? I don't know.
Hold on. Keep speaking.
Did you fix it? Is it better now?
Let's hope so.
God,
Doesn't it sound better?
Yeah, no, totally sounds better.
it's better now.
So, I have a basic tech related question for those of us who don't really use tech. So you pointed out the blinky things behind you on your desk there, and then you had said, when people are finding what equipment they're drawn to and kind of making it their own, are there like little things that you suggest? Like, are there particular things that you could get at any store that people could start to use in those ways?
Amazon, okay? These are basically like dog balls, okay?
Okay.
They're just lighted up ball. What I did is I brought it home and I cut it, okay? And then you pull it out and you got the innards, okay? So what I did is I took the innards of this, and it's very simple to do because all these things is spring. There's a spring-loaded piece in here with a piece of copper wrapped around it. So every time it moves, the spring hits the copper and activates the lights. So what I did is I opened this up, and you can see how it's kind of glued together now.
Mm-hmm.
Open it up, and I squeezed the copper a little bit closer. So now it's very sensitive to movement, as well as, bouncing it around. You throw it down a hallway, it's not going to break because I like the rubber part inside of it. You just throw it back inside the ball and off you go. It's back inside of it. It's simple things like that you can do. You make it your own. It's simple things. You don't need a engineering type of format to make it work. Just squeeze the copper a little bit. Just make sure if you over squeeze it, you can pull it back out. But it's things like that. Help it along. You want something down a hallway, see if it throws it back at you. There you go.
Yeah.
But these ones, I made these little guys. I didn't like the fact that there was no on off on these, and there's nowhere to put a button. I didn't want to put a button inside. But these are more sensitive. I made these, and they're very sensitive.
So
to
what do you have in your hand there, Jeff? You just said you invented.
Yeah, it's a motion ball.
What is it?
It's motion.
So you made them?
Yeah, I made these.
Little motion Konkel balls. So, so yeah. I mean the paranormal wise, yeah. I like that. So that's.
Yeah, these ones. See, this one I still need to adjust. I don't know why that one's not. But, a couple of them you can shoot it. You step, put it way over here and tap the table over here, and it'll go off. It's just there's a lot of vibration and noise going on in it. But just adjustments you got to make with them. It's just things like that.
I want to ask a question of the little handheld cameras. The ones that are just the mobile ones that are being used on a show that you know of.
Ghost Adventures?
Yeah. Huh? So
Ghost Adventures?
Oh, so the show. So what camera is that's used that works real well that you know of? Do you know the name of it? What type it is?
Oh no, the guy's got so many cameras. They have their own personal ones, which I don't go near. Those ones you can't really touch them. You just hand them a battery. That's theirs, and it's their personals. They keep track of it. They make sure to take care of it, and I do. Every once in a while I do clean them and make sure everything's running correctly on them. But otherwise they're theirs. They stay in their own case, and they're theirs. And
are they Panasonic? Panasonic or just?
They're all blacked out.
Gotcha. I got you.
They're all.
Got you.
So.
We had some people that had, some ideas and some questions about things that, ideas that they had or invention ideas that they had. So do you mind sharing with everyone how they can kind of watch what you're up to next, or maybe send you a question if they have a question about something they're creating?
Well, if I have time, yeah, I can answer it. I've been so busy, or I've been out of town. It's been kind of hard to answer those questions. I get a lot of them, and it's the fact that if certain people are building certain devices, you know, you build it as per what you want, not
Mhm.
as to what you think.
Sure.
If you're working with like an SB7 style piece of equipment, then you know I can understand you're going to ask questions or what would be the best, you know, type of let's see, a flanger to put in there. It's a piece of equipment that people use. See it as you see fit, but it is yours. So I mean, I'm not going to tell you how to build it. I might give you a little piece of advice on it, but otherwise, you know, it's all about the power.
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
what you want to do with it.
Hmm. And can people, find you online that they can see what you're building next? Or do you kind of keep that private?
All right, Kelly, I lost.
No, that's okay. I didn't know if there was a social media link that you wanted to share so people could see what you were up to next. I know you have some, I don't know if you're on Instagram or anything.
How can people reach out? Oh, we lost Jeff.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there with that. We'll
You'll
see if he
pop.
pops back in
You'll
here. I
pops
mean,
to the
I
top.
really have so many questions myself for
I know. Jeff. Oh, Jeff. Oh, Jeff.
he'll have to probably sign back in there, but yeah, I know I have so many questions for him as well. Oh, there he is. There you are. All right.
All right, I'm back.
Oh,
That's crazy.
So, how do people reach out to you, Jeff? How's a way that they could kind of reach out and
or
connect with you?
see what you're up to next, that kind of thing.
Jeff's Adventures.
Well, I just like to hang out on Facebook. You know, I don't post too much.
Mhm.
You know, I'll start a project, but then you know you won't see the finished part because that's that's kind of it starts getting into a little bit of deeper and
Mhm.
into things. And so, but I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm on Facebook. You know, I post a few things here and there. You know, you can hit me up on Messenger. Just don't. I mean, I'm sorry. Not don't, but bombard me. I mean, me some questions. That's fine. Ask me some questions. I don't mind it at all. I'm right here.
And I think that's great too for people. I mean, like I said, like me, who see the whole, you'll post a picture, of course, of like something you're working on. It's just amazing to me. So if you're anyone else who's watching that's also captivated by that sort of thing, just your pictures or your little description, is fascinating. So make sure that you follow, even just click follow so that you can see.
Hit me up if I'm available. It's a simple question, or
Mhm.
if you're asking me to build things for you, unfortunately, I'm not doing that right now.
Sure.
Um, it's just me. So
Mhm.
I've only
Uh,
arms here. But if you're asking me a question about a piece of equipment that you're building or a piece of equipment that you're using, then it doesn't bother me. Hit me up. If I'm
yeah.
able to answer you, I will.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, we're so thankful that you'd want to hang out with us, Jeff, for the hour. We know it's a very different time frame for you, but
Yeah, I
we're
know.
very, very thankful that you would hop on with us for a little while.
My kid's off work right now, so I got to go get her.
No.
There
Oh.
you go. It's 6 o'clock there.
Over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
She
Well,
said,
thank you. Thank you so much. I mean, I just have so many questions. I just disregard all the future questions. I mean, I think this is just amazing to me. And, my dad is an electrician too. And I feel like that's kind of the things, the basics that I understand about that sort of field come from what he's taught me.
yeah, and then
And
when
I think,
you're doing electrical, is it to me, it's a lot different than doing like a low voltage engineering computer type, you know, handheld type devices.
sure.
Where I got my knowledge from was from my dad.
Mhm.
Um, and but I tended to go into the more of the low side of it, and my father, when he passed away, my brothers took over the businesses, and but I stayed with them for as long as I possibly could, and then when that opportunity opened up for me, I dropped my tool belt.
Sure. Yeah.
My van. But
Oh. Oh.
I went totally a different direction, and I'm going to stay here for a while. I'm not going.
Good. Yep. Good for you. Good for you.
Our-
Oh, we're just so happy that you just hang out with us and answer
Yep.
questions. And we know how busy you are, and we're just thankful that you do that. So thank you,
You know
so
what?
very much.
It was great. Thank you for having me on and talking about things, because it does get kind of hold on, listen. That's how quiet it is.
yeah,
Every
I
once
know.
in a while, to have a conversation about, things I'm doing like that.
Sure.
It does pick it up a little bit, but there's been times I just like, and walk away from the table. I'll walk away from it, or I'll play.
Yeah.
I'll pick up a guitar and I'll play that. That'll usually back into
Jeff,
what I'm doing.
yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Coming up here real soon, Jeff, how much is this tour going to keep you off and away from the ghost thing? Because y'all go back on the road in March, right? Y'all are doing like a 40-city tour with Queensryche. Folks, if you didn't know, Jeff Konkel is the rock star guitarist with a amazing heavy metal band, Judas Priest. 40, I think it's 40 cities, and then they're hitting across the pond. Jeff Konkel, guitarist for Judas Priest. So he'll be doing that, but and then the TV show. So Jeff's a busy guy. Jeff is a busy guy. Jeff's always a busy guy.
That's
Rock
right.
it, Jeff.
Right. Oh,
Busy, brother. Always.
yeah. That's right.
Well, you better go get your daughter. I know you got stuff you got to go do. So
yeah.
go take. I gotta pop on. Huh?
Let him take the bus.
I know. I gotta get off. I got you.
Oh. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in for this awesome night. Oh, look at that!
Now I know what happened to Wile E. Coyote.
I know I appreciate it. I'm getting that in March. That's my birthday present, Kelly.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yes.
I'll have to ask what the heck it is, because I don't know, but it has a face.
For me.
So
it's my birthday present for March. So I appreciate it, Jeff.
Well, thank you again so much, and thanks everybody for watching and tuning in. And Keith, I guess we'll just wrap it now, and we'll see him in 2 weeks.
Dun, 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 dun. See you in 2 weeks.
Bye everybody. Good night.
See you later.